All right, so we're gonna piggyback off of that pentatonic lick that we worked on last week. From that part, after we run that, we're gonna throw in this part. It'll go. So it's licks we've done before, but I'm still going to slow it down for you. Starting with the A string, open, first fret, second fret, then open D. Then we're going to hit the open A again and hammer on the first fret. Third fret E, second fret D. So, and always end on that open E at the top. And I'm kind of throwing in a hammer on. I'm just kind of picking it once. And when you do that hammer on, it's kind of like you kind of hold that open A out a little longer instead of just doing. It's just a quicker hammer on, but you hold the A out a little longer. Practice that a little bit, just kind of. Just make sure you're not picking too much. I'm just kind of picking that one. Just kind of picking the A string down and then picking that E string up. And then pulling off that E string. The next part we did was the Pride and Joy. So I'm sliding in to the intro, and I know you know that part where all that stuff. We're going to slide into the 5th fret on the B string, and I'm sliding from the 2nd. Okay. So you can kind of see my right hand right there when I'm doing that. And those two notes right there is the 7th fret E and the 8th fret B at the same time. And right now, just kind of work on knowing the song, and the little subtleties you can add in there once you kind of feel more comfortable doing it is I'm bending that B string right there. Kind of just like a little bit of a bend. And when we talked about bending a little bit, and we talked about how like it's not just the finger that you're bending, but you're moving your arm. So like if I'm bending up, I'm kind of lifting, I'm twisting and lifting my whole arm. And same thing when I'm bending down. Notice my arm moving. It's not really my fingers moving, but I'm kind of using it as like I wouldn't call it a fulcrum necessarily, but kind of just as like a pivot point. You know, right there, I'm just kind of squeezing my hands. And also, you know, just think like at least for right now, when you're bending up, kind of move your arm and hand with it, and you're bending down, move your arm and hand with it. Or, you know, even doing this, but you would be using your hand to kind of move it. We can work on bending techniques a little bit more, but just kind of think up, down, up, down. All right, so the next part, after we do that, we slide in. Do it again, slide into the 5th fret. Again, this part right here, this is kind of how I do it. There's different ways. You can bend it, or I like to do the, you know, the classic, like the little double stop with the trill. So you're having right here your A and your B string at the same time. So I'm kind of hitting that, and the same thing we talked about with that A. You're kind of doing that same thing. You're holding that note out a little bit. So I'm doing. So I'm doing the 2nd fret, 3rd fret, back to the 2nd fret, open, and 2nd fret again, and open. So. Then you end on that E. That D string right there, 2nd fret, then open. And that's when you go. You know. So again. And another thing you could do, you could bend it too if you wanted. Instead of hitting that, we talked about that bend. So if we did. Same thing. Remember, think down. Personally, I like the trill a little bit better. But the bend, you can. It's the same thing. It's going to be hitting that same note. You want to make sure that you're bending it into that note. But yeah, so just keep practicing that, and keep practicing the chords that we went over with the E, A, and the B7 from the previous video with that rhythm. So, all right, my guy. We will see you next week.